Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Musings with Mayuri. In this video, we'll talk about a very common concern that we as aspirants face every single day while studying, at least in the initial days of our preparation. That is how to set the targets, complete them, and one major issue is how to maintain consistency, or what is consistency basically, right? So I'll be addressing all those concerns in this video. I'll keep it very short so that you're better able to understand. I hope you make the most of it. So first we'll discuss how to set targets, right? So what you need to do is, let's say you have to start studying from tomorrow, or you have to study something for tomorrow. So on the previous night, you have to make a list of targets that you will be doing for tomorrow. Always remember, pre-planning is a must. You cannot just wake up tomorrow in the morning and start making targets. Please try and do this on the previous night itself. Make the targets for the next day and set achievable targets for yourself. I'll show you an example in the further slides what is meant by achievable targets, right? And also one very important thing to note is, study for 6 days, keep 1 day as buffer, right? Out of 7 days, don't keep on studying for all the 7 days. You need to study for 6 days. Study as in, here I mean reading new things for 6 days, and 1 day solely for revision or for completing your backlog. In the later stages, you can gradually reduce to 5 days of studying and 2 days of revision and backlog, like 2 buffer days, right? But initially 6 plus 1 should be your target basically that you should be aiming for. So I'll give you an example what I meant by achievable targets. See, every single day you study either one or two GS subjects based on your capacity. You have to identify this, right? It may be different for different people, and even here you need to set very realistic targets. Let's say today I'm going to complete first 2 chapters of modern history, or maybe first 3 chapters of modern history. If you have decided this, please complete it, right? Don't carry it for the next day. See, if you're not able to do it in the initial days, you'll feel that you're not able to do it, and you'll be able to identify what is best for you. So moving forward, you set your targets accordingly. Initially it is fine. We always need some time to identify what is good for us, okay? So in that phase it is acceptable, but do try and find what is best for you, like reading 2 chapters, reading 3 chapters, or sometimes reading half chapter if the chapter is too long is itself a big task, right? So find this. And one important thing that I would like to tell you all here is, let's say you had set a target of studying 3 chapters today, and you enjoyed the process and you very soon completed studying the 3rd chapter, and you feel like studying 2 more chapters. So what I feel from my experiences, don't overdo things. You had set the target for 3 chapters, so you've done it. That is done for that particular day. Don't try and overdo things, because what happens is the next day you will feel a little bit lethargic. You will be like, okay, yesterday I studied 2 more chapters extra, so today probably I can sit back and relax. So that state is going to come. So to avoid that, we are just focusing on completing the set targets and not overdoing things, right? So first will be 1 or 2 GS subjects, and the newspaper, if you're reading, you have to read it every day, and your current affairs. Let's say if you're doing the daily current affairs, you read the daily one. Else set a target that out of your monthly current affairs magazine, I'm going to cover so much portion for today, and complete that. And optional, the same goes with optional. Decide how much you want to study on that particular day and complete it. Also, please note that the schedule might be changed when we are closer to prelims or mains. Let's say when we are closer to prelims, we'll also have to incorporate CSAT in our preparation depending on our level, like where is our standing with regard to CSAT. So that you will have to note, and accordingly for mains, right? Now talking about the next point, that is how to complete the targets. See, for completing the targets, a very disciplined schedule is important. What do I mean by disciplined schedule? See, let's say your targets are set. Now you have to follow a particular routine. See, I don't mean that you always need to follow this routine. Sometimes our routine changes, but when you try to stick to one particular way of doing things, it becomes a habit and you'll get used to doing things that way. Let's say every morning I wake up and I start with the GS. This is just an example. It could be the newspapers and current affairs as well. So find what is comfortable for you. Right? Morning I do GS, then I go for lunch, then in the afternoon after lunch, say I am doing newspapers and CA. Then I relax for some time, and in the evening I utilize my time studying optional. So try and try and follow this schedule in a very disciplined manner so that it becomes a habit for you. And every day you should focus on completing your targets. You cannot carry forward your targets for the next day. Also, I would like to tell you some do's and don'ts as well. See, first, talking about the do's, set realistic targets based on your capacity. We have already discussed this. And always use PYQs, whatever you're studying. Let's say you've studied 3-4 chapters of a particular subject and you've not even seen one single PYQ. And let's say sometimes from some areas, PYQs are never asked. So there is no point, right? Unless and until you know what UPSC is asking. So every single day solve the PYQs, or refer to the PYQs, and don't think your studies are complete without PYQs. PYQs is a must. Also, the next point is time your studies. What do I mean by time your studies? See, when you're sitting to study, you can use a stopwatch, or maybe some people use the YPT app as well to check for how many hours they are able to study, right? So please do this. What will happen is you will get to know how many hours of effective studies you're doing, and you need to pause the stopwatch when you are getting up. Let's say even for drinking water, you have to go and drink water. Let's say you have to stop it, or maybe you're using the washroom, stop it, right? You will be able to effectively track your study time. And what happens is this helps in planning further. Like how sometimes maybe there are some pending portions, so you will exactly know, okay, for my daily targets I need so many number of hours. If I want to add the pending portion, I can accommodate on this day, because I can manage to study for these many number of hours apart from my usual number of hours, right? So it'll help you in doing that. And now talking about don'ts, see what I feel according to my experience, and I also have spoken to a couple of my friends. I used to always ask them this question, like, are you able to study for 8 hours? Are you able to study for 10 hours? One common response, and my friends have given names, so you can understand it has worked for them, right? So I've gotten to know that, and they have told me this key: do not set time. Don't decide that I'll study for 10 hours. Set the targets for each day and try and complete the targets. Okay. And one important concern that as beginners we face is like, sometimes we are reading and we are not able to understand things and we get stressed about it. I am reading, but I'm not able to understand what to do, what not to do. See, if you're not understanding, it's okay. Just read it. Don't judge yourself at that point in time. And do not force yourself to understand everything in one go. See, it is not like today you're reading and tomorrow you're appearing for the exam. You will have significant time for revision and we need to revise. Right? So just remember, just read it at that point. Later we can again come back at it and revise properly. And do not try to find shortcuts for anything. Shortcut will never work. Here our focus should be on following the right process, and if you want to follow the right process, don't believe in shortcuts. Things will take time. Like when you're trying to do everything like from the scratch, it is going to take time, but remember that it's one time effort. Like if you try and follow the right process, you will always be able to you'll be able to understand things and always try to achieve your goals. Okay. So what do I mean by this is, see, like we see some people who are successively cracking prelims because they have understood how to do it right. That is why they are able to crack prelims no matter the randomness and the difficulty of the paper. So that you need to identify, and do not find shortcuts. I'll give you one example, that is NCERT substitute. See, if you have not read NCERT, it's okay. In your free time, you find some time and try and read the NCERTs, but don't look for NCERT substitutes. See, that won't help in the long run. That I personally feel that it is not the right process. Like, we can make so much efforts, right? We are preparing for such a big exam, we can put a little more efforts and try and read the NCERTs, right? So I just feel that. And do not be harsh on yourself. Do not put excessive stress and pressure if you're not able to complete the targets. We have set one buffer day for ourselves or two buffer days according to the level of our preparation. We'll, anyways, we'll cover our backlogs the next day, and yeah, our schedule will get shifted by one day, which would be manageable, right? So please remember, and do not judge yourself. See, every day cannot be perfect, every day cannot be good. It's okay. Even though you're not feeling that, you have, see, sometimes you feel that yesterday was good, today I couldn't do much. It's okay. Don't judge yourself at that point. Just keep moving and complete the targets for that day. Because if you sit and start judging yourself, you will simply waste that day. So don't do that. Now, one very, very important question: how to stay consistent? So for that, you need to, find the meaning of the word consistent. Find your own definition of consistency. I'll give you examples. Like, for some people, it might be studying every day, or for some people, studying at least so many number of hours every day. So do not use somebody else's definition. You find your own definition. I'll give you an example. For me, consistency meant studying every day. So there were days when I did not feel like studying, but I had defined consistency as studying every day. So even I would try and manage, if I would try and manage to get 1 hour and I study on that particular day, I would happy, because my definition was like studying every day, right? So I studied. Though I studied less, I studied. And what to study during that time? Like, what did I study? I read the newspapers, or maybe I revised something, or attempted the current affairs quiz, or I used to go through the fact sheet that I made, like declarations, committee reports, etc. Whatever I had made, I used to go through that. And remember, don't give an excuse that no, I'm not feeling like studying or something like that, because it's all about your will. Where there is a will, there is a way. So if you have a very strong will, your emotions will not overpower you, and these thoughts that I cannot study, do not feel like studying, will not overpower you. At least do something. So make sure that you at least do something every single day. Please make sure that, there are no days at all when you have not done anything. Don't do that. Do something every day. And I would like to talk about two things, that is role of rewards and role of breaks in our preparation. See, rewarding yourself is very important. It will help you in maintaining consistency. And what is this idea of rewards? When is one rewarded? Basically, only when you accomplish something, right? So remember to reward and treat yourself after completing your targets every single day. For example, let's say you are a person who, finishes everything by 7 p.m. Like, you wake up in the morning and finishes everything by 7 p.m. It's okay. You've completed your targets for that day. After that, it is okay to relax for some time. Like, relax as in watching a movie, or maybe you'd like to talk to your friend, or you like drawing, or pursuing a hobby. Do pursue that, right? Or maybe sometimes you can just go out and eat whatever you like. So do it. I'm not saying, do this every single day, but after completing your targets for the day, it's okay to relax. Okay, relaxing can be anything. Okay, not necessarily all these things which I have mentioned. It could be different for every single person. So it's okay. Don't force yourself. Let's say on some days you've completed studying at 5 p.m. only in the evening. It's okay. You relax. Don't overdo things. What happens is, if you overdo, the next day you will not be able to do things. Right? So this will help you in having a balanced day, and it will also help you get back with enthusiasm the next day. Your mind will be fresh and open. Right? So try and do this. And role of breaks. Once a week taking breaks is advisable, but no full day breaks. Why? What happens is, I'll give you the example of Monday blues. Like when you're working in the corporate sector, etc., so we have these offs on Saturday and Sunday. So what happens is, this inertia is created where we are in a state of rest and we don't feel like working on Mondays. So that would happen. If you take a whole day break, you will not feel like studying the next day also. This should not happen. So only once a week breaks are advisable, and treat break also as a reward. That is, when to take breaks: only when you have accomplished the targets, right? For example, on Sunday, let's say we want to take a break. Make sure that from the morning till evening, let's say 4 p.m., 5 p.m., or whatever you want, okay, that you have to set the time for yourself. You make sure you study during that time, and post that you take a half day break. It's like a reward. I've done something, I've accomplished my targets for the day, so okay, now I'm going to take a break. So if you manage to do this, I am sure you will do great at studies. These things have worked for me personally, and it was not easy. This did not come in one attempt. Over the years, I tried to find and do different things and realize, what worked best for me. And it's not just for me. I've interacted with a couple of my friends also. So they also gave me this opinion that whenever you try and do things and you treat yourself for that, you will feel more rejuvenated the next day, right? So please study in this manner. Like, try this manner. I believe that it will work for everybody, and it'll make your process of studying more enjoyable. Thank you so much.